Hello, everybody. It is I, Gordon, the podcast lawyer, just visiting to say hello today. It is the 29th day of December of the year 2022, and I am I don't have a planned program for today. I thought we would just chit chat, and I'd love to say hello if you're watching. Wherever you're watching, I would love to know who you are, what you're watching about, what's on your mind. Looks like I've got we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and should be on LinkedIn also, but I don't know if that's happening or not. So anyway, wanted to say hello and visit with you for a little bit today. I am planning to record an episode of the Legit Podcast Pro podcast at some point. I may do it this afternoon. We'll see. But I've got to. No, I'm not going to get to it today. I've got a couple other things to do, and I want to do this one right. I've got an episode to talk about coming up for next week to talk about how to go about fact checking your podcast, why it's necessary, what to do, and those kinds of things. So we will talk about that. Bear with me while I let the dog out of the office. Here you go, Rosie. Come on. Hey, someone call the dog. All right. And that reminds me to turn on the little busy sign on my outside the office door here. And we will see what's going on. Okay. So who's with me? What's cooking? I see somebody's watching. Drop a note in the comments to let me know you're here. And also, if you haven't already, I think it only applies to groups. So, yeah, if you're watching, I'd love to know who you are and what you're doing, what's going on, and I'll tell you a little bit about my upcoming free workshop called Business and Legal Fundamentals for Podcast Growth and Profit. It'll be Monday, January 16th, 2023 at 9 o'clock in the morning. And see if I have my... let me see what I can do here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. That's too much. Oh, let me just reframe things. There we go. And I think I have some... maybe I don't. Well, there's my little animated thing. Anyway, I'm doing this workshop, and I'll just put it up on the screen right now while we're talking. If I can... Where's my overlay? There it is. So I'm going to do... the URL for registration for the Fundamentals Workshop. That is I guess I can't type and talk at the same time. It's podcastlaw.net. Actually, it's event .podcastlaw.net, and for some reason, what's going on here? Whatever reason, it is not coming in. Oh, because opacity is turned all the way down. Here we go. Event.podcastlaw.com. Is that right? I better double check it. I think part of me wants to say it's podcastlaw.net. It is. It's .net. So let's fix that. I knew something was wonky about the way that looked on screen. So there it is. Event.podcastlaw.net gets you registered for Business and Legal Fundamentals. Business and Legal Fundamentals for Podcast Growth and Profit. And that'll be January 16th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So let me do a couple of little tweaks here. Make this one, I don't know, a little smaller. Here we go. And this will be italicized. I should have done this before I went live, but as often happens, things just crept right up on me. So let's see how that looks. There we go. That's not too bad. Might shrink that down and just sort of put that up on my shoulder there. There we go. And I'm also going to drop it in the comments. Just so. Hope you can join me. I'm going to talk about some of the most common mistakes that podcasters make. Because getting the legal and business affairs for a podcast in order really is just as important as getting great quality sound and video, great, strong, engaging content, growing your audience so you can get to grow and profit from your show. Well, you got to learn and avoid these mistakes, the kinds of things that hold so many podcasters back and end up costing them time and money and energy and a lot of headaches and grief. I'm going to share a bunch of key strategies to maximize your podcast's growth and profit. So come on over to event.podcastlaw.net and register for the program. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually going to give that a little bit of a background. Let me see if I can do this without things going crazy on me. Background color, make it grayish. And we'll see how that looks here. Not that opacity, this opacity. There we go. That makes it a little easier to read. So I'm going to just leave that up for while we're here today. And if you've got something to say, hey, Bob, nice to see you. Bob calls me Red. And once upon a time, this was red, and there was curly stuff on here that was red. But it's been a long time. That tells you how long Bob and I have been friends. Good to see you, my friend. I hope all's well with you. And I'm going to make an adjustment here to other way. There we go. There we go. That gives us a little more breathing room. Anyway, what's new, Bob? What are you up to? It is just about New Year's, and I do have a couple things to talk about. Nothing earth-shattering, but I thought I would just share a couple of thoughts that I had this last few days. First of all, January 1st, as you may or may not know, is Public Domain Day. Every January 1st, we celebrate Public Domain Day. This is the day when all of the works created in the year 95 years earlier fall into the public domain. So on January 1st, we will see all of the works created in 1927 become public domain and available for free copying and use and building, using as building blocks for other things, and that's really exciting. Now, this year is very interesting. There's a few interesting literary, there's a number of really famous songs. You might find that interesting, Bob. And I'll be talking more about the titles in particular. The Sherlock Holmes, the last collection of Sherlock Holmes works falls into the public domain now. So we'll see, I'm sure we'll see more Sherlock Holmes kinds of movies and plays and all kinds of good stuff there. Many of the works of Cole Porter are now falling into the public domain. So that's kind of cool. And so that's an interesting thing. There's just a little wrinkle in copyright law. One would think it would be easy enough to calculate dates based on the date the original work was first published or first created or registered or something like that. But to simplify all that and make it just, work out easily to calculate, as long as we know what year the original work was published or became entitled to copyright protection, we can count back 95 years. And if we're more than 95 years ago, it's in the public domain and we're good to go there. So kind of a fun little tidbit that it all happens on January 1st. What else? There's an article. I'm going to share this article. I'm actually going to share the article with you about Public Domain Day too. because I didn't do all the legwork myself on this. So Public Domain Day. A fellow named Aaron wrote the article, and he did a nice job with it, including the Q&A. So here's the article link. And this other article is something I found on one of the newsletters that I receive. It talks about produce your podcast and how to market your podcast business and 10 ways to market any business. But so just going to share those links. That's pretty cool. Actually, let me open that up. It's from produceyourpodcast.com. Top 10 ways to market your business in 2023. Talks about brand identity and optimizing your social media, content marketing, email marketing, influencer and thought leader collaborations. It talks about events and workshops, which I'm excited. I'm going to be speaking at an event in late January, but the week prior to that, I'll be doing my workshop, the right up there, Business and Legal Fundamentals for Podcast Growth and Profit. This is really, really important stuff. I think that podcasters, if you're starting a show, starting a channel, starting any kind of media project, you gotta think about the legal stuff, because it's just as important as the sound quality, the content quality, the consistency, and all of that, because you want to get yourself set up and ready, and all of your T's crossed and I's dotted, so that when opportunities come, you're ready to jump on them. You don't have to worry about the what ifs and the oopsies and those kinds of things. Bree is here. She's showing up as the clever biatch. Saying, I need to look into the music that falls into public domain from 1927. Yeah, I've got a list. Actually, the article I linked has a list of some of them, and there will be more of those kinds of articles coming in the next few days, so that's exciting. And how great. Now, something to be really aware of, Bree, and everybody, is that just because the composition for, My Blue Heaven, which is one of them, is falling into the public domain, does not mean that the recording of My Blue Heaven by whatever group or artist you are fond of is in the public domain, because the recording is a separate copyrighted work. So we've got to be careful and thoughtful about that, and it may still be necessary to clear some of those rights. But if you wanted to perform your own version of My Blue Heaven after January 1st, go for it. And in fact, I think we'll start and make your own recording. And I think we'll start to see some of these compositions finding their way into the music libraries. I'm fond of one called Epidemic Sound, and it wouldn't surprise me at all to find some artists. This may be an opportunity for someone like you, Bob, to make some recordings of some famous songs that are now in the public domain and make them available for licensing, either through music libraries or just direct licensing. Just put them out there, and that's that. So you could sing it. Well, maybe not, but you could hum it. Yeah, it's funny. I love to sing, especially show tunes, and some of those older tunes are in that category. But my kids shout me down every time I do it, which that's not a blow to my ego, but it's an energy thing, and it is what it is. So I just give as good as I get. And when they sing or hum, I tell them to shut up too. So anyway, what else is going on, Bree? What do you have cooking this next week or two? And Bree, are we meeting tomorrow, you and I and Trevor? I don't think I have it on the calendar, so if we are, please shoot me an email. I think we were talking about getting it on the calendar, and then it never happened. So let me know. And Bob, long time. We haven't talked in a very long time, so let's connect in the new year for sure, and spend some time together. That'd be good. Hope Judith is well, and Hannah and all that. You have an important meeting tomorrow. Okay, I don't have it on my calendar, so tell me. Let me know somewhere. DM me or text me or or email me. And Bree, I'm good in our that morning time slot that we often do, so that should work. If you want to, we're cooking something up. So for those who aren't tuned in, Bree and this fellow Trevor and I we got something on the burner, putting together a concoction for you. So that'll be fun. What else? What else have I going to talk about with you folks today? Let's see. Well, talking about goals. Oh, this is good. Let me find my other notes on that. Everybody's heard about SMART goals, right? SMART goals. Now, what did I do with my notes about this? Darn it. I bet I got through them. I removed them somewhere. Anyway, SMART goals is specific, measurable, actionable, time-based, and specific, measurable, actionable are specific, measurable, no, not actionable, achievable, realistic, I think is another. Anyway, SMART. I add 3 things to that. I call it my smartest goals. The E stands for emotion. And when you're setting your goals, and let's face it, now is the time of year when we do that, sitting down and not just making note of the thing you want to accomplish, but also the emotional, the visceral experience of what that goal achievement will feel like. The why. It's sort of the why. It's what is going to drive you to go for that goal every single day. Sometimes people say you want to make a lot of money. Put a picture of the boat you want to buy on the wall where you see it every day. This is sort of getting in touch with the feelings and being tuned in so that you can remind yourself of how great it's going to feel when this, or how wonderful it feels to know I'm providing for my family, or those kinds of things. And connecting to that emotional reaction and response as part of the why is tremendously valued. So SMART, E for emotion. The S in there is it's not enough just to have a deadline, but you also have to have a system, a plan, a strategy. So system or strategy is that second S, SMART S. Having a plan, a system, a method, a mechanism that is going to get you to the goal on the timeline that you've set up for yourself. So SMART S, and then the last T in there, that extra letter T, is for triggered. And what I mean by triggered is you've got to have something that makes going for this goal, the action steps, the noticing that emotional so you stay with it, and implementing the system. You got to have something to trigger that. Just like when you wake up in the morning, you automatically now, because we're all grown-ups, right? We remember to brush our teeth. We remember to do our other, morning routines and things like that. Those routines, those habits that we have formed are triggered. So you wake up in the morning, you get up, you brush your teeth. You get ready for bed, you go to bed. You brush your teeth before you go to bed. You take off your makeup or comb your hair. What are those kinds of things? These activities that we do that are part of our normal daily lives. We've made them habits. We've made these routines happen almost on autopilot. And setting up those triggers, figuring out what's the trigger thing that I'm going to do that's going to make me do that thing. And then you do it, so having those triggers and connecting with it, if it's getting up to exercise, maybe it's a matter of the night before having everything ready so that when you wake up, the trigger is an easy step into going to work out or whatever else. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely, emotion, system, and triggered. Reinforcing the habit. Yes, thank you very much, Bree, for summarizing and reposting that. I think the A actually is about actionable, not achievable, because achievable and realistic are really sort of the same thing. So, an actionable goal is something where there are steps that you can do to get there. If you don't have those actions available, then what you have is a dream or a hope, and not really a goal, because goals depend on doing things to get there. And anyway, so I hope you're setting goals for the new year, 2023, and I hope you're putting them down in writing. I'm not going to invite you to share them here. This isn't the right place for that, but you should, I think, share your goals with your family or your audience, whoever the audience for your thing is, because it will make you accountable. When you put it out there that this is what I'm going to do this year. And by the way, when you articulate a goal, articulate it in either I am going to or I will, not I want to, because want is a nice feeling, but will do is a commitment. Or a year from now, I will have, or I am doing this. You know, the way you word these things in your mind really does impact how you go about making them happen. If it's a hope, it's a pipe dream, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. If it's a commitment, well, then you have that natural sense of I don't want to let myself down, I don't want to let my audience down, and so there is value to sharing your goals. Being in touch with your mission and your purpose is important too, and all of that really relates to core values. So if you haven't done some contemplation about what's important in your world, in your life, in your vision of the future, please do take a few minutes, take a little while, take yourself on a little retreat. Go to your happy place, whether that's a real happy place or just an emotional, mental thing you do in meditation, and concentrate a little bit on what's important to me. Why is it important? Why am I here? What am I going to do? What's my mission, my purpose? And then get to the goals. The goals are the things that advance your purpose, advance your mission. So my values are education, communication, and having an impact and influence. And for me, it's actually about my audience, sharing and helping my audience have an impact and an influence. So I have set a goal of helping 10,000 podcasters, creators, YouTubers, playwrights, composers, lyricists, performers, and I'm going to actually up that number. I think I'm getting close to 10,000 already. So, but for now, my mission is to help those folks, 10,000 or more of them, get their message out, achieve the impact that they desire, become or have the influence that they wish to change the world, to improve the world. Because what are we here for if not to improve the world? So much of the world around us is driven just by the sort of crass commercialism. And those of us that sort of are interested in improving the world, well, we have to speak about it. We have to get the word out. My goal as a lawyer, my goal as an advocate is if you've got a message, I want to help make sure you can get it out there safely and as broadly as possible. And that's why I do what I do. So my purpose, my mission, my values, right there for you. So if you're not already one, well, I think you are. If you're listening, you're already one of my 10,000. But I've got products and services and all kinds of good stuff to help with that. So thank you for the thumbs up and thank you for being here today. What else do I want to talk about? It's almost 30 minutes now. And I'll stick around for a few more minutes. So I started to say I'm going to be speaking at Podfest in January. I think my talk is on January 27th. The conference is from the 25th or 26th through the 29th or 30th of January. So I'll be there in Orlando. And if you can make it, I would love to see you. I'd love to sit down and chat over a cocktail or have a meal together or whatever if you're going to be there. And if you're not, why not? It should be a lot of fun. I'm excited to be getting out to conferences again. And then in March, I will be speaking at the Podcast Movement Evolutions Conference in Las Vegas, which is exciting. And I don't have plans at this moment to be at South by Southwest, but that could change on a moment's notice. And then later in the summer, I'll be in Denver for the main Podcast Movement Conference. And in between, I'm sure I'll be doing a few other things. There's also going to be January's busy. I've got a podcast summit, an online summit, a world media summit conducted by a gal, Anita, who I need to communicate with in a few moments, actually. and I'll be probably doing that on January 17th. So January 16th is my workshop. January 17th is this World Summit thing, and then January 27th is my talk at Podfest. My topic for Podfest is a prenup for your podcast. Yes, you do need one, and I'll be talking about what a podcast prenup is and how they work and what you need to include and why and who should have them and all of those kinds of things. So it'll be a good talk. If you don't think about these things now, you'll find yourself grieving about them or having headaches about them later on. And that's part of my goal, is to get my message out as, hey, get stuff done. Bree says, I heard you in my head yesterday in a conversation. Someone misused rights with custody, which are not the same. And I heard myself say those terms are not interchangeable in this instance. So it's interesting. Yeah. So, okay. Well, I am going to sign off now. I think it's been enough of this particular talking head for the day. But thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And I'll be back next. No, I will not be back next Thursday because we have a family outing. We're going to take the kids to Disneyland. Bob, if you and Hannah and Judith manage to get to Disneyland any of the 3 middle days next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, let us know. Let's text and connect. Maybe even just, at Downtown Disney at dinner time or who knows what. So a little inside baseball for those of us in SoCal. But this is going to be, so next week I won't be here, but I will probably have something pre-scheduled running, and that'll be good. And yeah, Brie, I'll see you in the morning tomorrow. And no more. It's funny. This is my week off, and I've been getting up early every morning for meetings and things. Go figure. But anyway, that's it. I'll thanks again for being here. Everybody have a happy New Year. Wish you the best and a very prosperous one. Go set those goals. Go make them happen. And I'll see you on the flip side. Probably the what is it? The week. I'll probably go live on January 9th, which is Monday, because it's an important day for me. So, all right. Have a great one. Take care. Happy holiday. Happy New Year. Ciao.